As the clock strikes 7, the vibes alive. Inner circles here where voices thrive. Turn on your screens, let the magic unfold. Listening and healing as stories are told. Come on, come on, this is your time. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. Inner Circle podcast where hearts unite. Sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home. With laughter and love, we break down the walls. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. So join the conversation, let's set the tone. In a Circle podcast where love is well known.
Oh, welcome, folks, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome. Happy New Year. I know most folks around the world have already rung in the New Year in Asia, in Africa, and most places in Europe. So, Happy New Year to everyone. If you have already celebrated your New Year, Happy New Year 2025. We here at Inner Cycle Podcast. We want to wish you a Happy New Year, and we hope for a prosperous 2025. As you go into 2025, or as you have entered into 2025, we hope your 2025 will be greater than your 2024. More blessing, more grace, more hustle, more everything that you wish for. We hope that you get it. But tonight, guys, it's a busy night over. It's New Year Eve here in the United States still. So we'll be here quick. I know most of the panelists obviously out there celebrating New Year. In the Liberian community, the folks are getting ready to go to watch night. Instead of celebrations, right? They go to church and make sure they bring in the New Year 2025. So we hope wherever you are, hope you're having a good night, a good New Year. If you are already wrong in the New Year, and for those preparing to ring in the New Year here in the United States, we wish you be safe out there. Whatever it is that you are doing, be safe. Don't drink and drive. There's Uber, there's Lyft. Don't go into the new year with any kind of a baggage or bad luck. So we hope you celebrate wisely. Do the best you can to celebrate wisely. Don't take unnecessary risk. But tonight our topic is setting intentional goals for 2025. Intentional goals, right, for 2025. Every time around the new year, folks will plan to say, "Hey, man, going to 2025, maybe like I want to go to the gym. I want to share financial goals." It's like, so tonight, right? What we are discussing is it just okay or enough to set goals, or like setting intentional goals, right? That are achievable, and then what are the merits and demerits of that, right? It's like, so do you just want to go into the year and then, take it day by day, live in the moment and takes whatever comes? Or you want to set intentional goals. What do you want to achieve in 2025? What it is that you want to achieve. And so tonight, folks, you can join you can call our number 952-594-5154, or you can, put a comment in our chat. What are your goals? What are your intentional goals that you will be working on in 2025? We want to hear from you. Like I will be sharing mine, and also like Cycle Podcast, what it is that we want to achieve in 2025. This year, 2024, obviously, right? Sometimes before you plan for the new year, you have to look back, right? It's like you always have to look back, right? What has the year been for you, right? The current year versus, going into the new year, right? So for Inner Cycle, it's been a great year for us. We started this platform in this 2024. It's been a great medium where, we come here, we share different topics that affects our immigrant communities, that affects folks, you know, we discuss social topics, we discuss business, so many issues here that we discuss, right, on this platform. So for Inner Cycle, 2024 has been a great year for us, and we're hoping going into 2025, it will be even a transformational year. One of the things also that we did in 2024 was, we had our first anniversary of Black Tie event. It was a huge event, very successful. We had a huge turnout. We also launched, right, at that program. We officially launched an ambitious project to build an $8 million state of the art, community center in the state of Minnesota, that will serve, community and cultural center that will serve immigrants in this great state of Minnesota. So that's those are the achievements, those are the things that we really achieve. And then our our membership, our bond as brothers, really grew stronger. Uh Again, I will continue to play basketball every Saturday. We did a lot of great things, right, in our community. We achieved a lot. It was a great year for us. But the year was not without some challenges. Some of our members went through some difficult periods. But at the end of the day, right, we went through those and we survived, right? So 2024 has been a great year. Not everything was gravy. We did face some challenges, but I would say overall for Inner Cycle podcast, it was a good year. Personally, as well for me, it's a blessing for me and my family to be here. You know, um, it was a good year for us. There was some transitions, but we survived those transitions. And we are here. The kids are healthy. Everyone in our family is healthy. So we are going into 2025 with a lot of hope. My daughter, Bianca, is going to be starting high school. My son is in high school and things like that. So it's like, 2025 is going to be the great year. I'm going to have a high schooler, two high schooler basically. So looking forward to that. But as we go into this year, what are the goals, right, that you should be setting? What does success look like for you in 2025? And how can you ensure, that your goals align with your vision? First, you got to be intentional about those goals, right? It's like you have to have measurable goals. Some of the problem we face as human beings sometimes, like, hey, I want to go to the gym, I want to work out, right? But is that measurable? I want to lose weight. How can you measure that? How many pounds do you want to lose? Right? If it comes to monetary goals, right? Financial goals, what it is you want to achieve. Do you want to make more money or do you want to cut down your expenses? Right? You have to, you know, have measurable goals. So what does success look like for you? So going into 2025, make sure that you are setting measurable goals, goals that you can maybe track on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and look back at it and say, okay, you know what? Am I on track or am I off track? And making sure that you are very intentional, and you have to also be strategic about it, right? You have to be flexible as well. Flexibility should be the key, to setting intentional goals because things happens, life happens, and so you must be able to, or you should adjust, right, when things happens. But setting intentional goals, making sure that you're not just walking into 2025, without anything to look forward to. I think it is very important. The drawback to that sometimes, or the demerits of setting intentional goals, right? You can get bogged down by it. You can sometimes get caught up in the details, right? Don't focus so much on that. As I said, you got to be flexible. When life happens, especially in this America, right? One morning you might wake up, maybe the car doesn't start, right? Okay, damn, had that in your budget, or maybe your family member might, pass or get sick, something, there's always something out of the blue. So you must be, as much as you are setting intentional goals for 2025, you also have to be very, very flexible. And then, as I said earlier, right, you, in order to know where you are going or know where you're coming from. So, what lessons have you learned from 2024 that's going to carry you forward? Are there things or habits that you want to leave behind? For me, right, one of the habits I want to leave behind, sometimes, like I got so much on my plate that I procrastinate. Oh, I'm going to do this tomorrow. No, I do want to leave those behind, right? I want to make sure it's like there's no tomorrow. I want to do it now. And if I have something to do going into 2025, I want to do it right now. I don't want to say, hey, I'm going to do that later. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to do that, and at another time. If I set my sight on something, I 2025, my goal is to actually do it, not to put it off, not to procrastinate, and just make sure that I am achieving or I am doing what it is that I plan to do, right? So it's like in 2024, I have been so now when I say I'm gonna do something, I sometimes don't get to it, and I keep procrastinating, and I will let things just slip by, and then once I look, right, time does not wait for anyone. Time flies by, and then like I get behind, and sometimes I don't do it, right? Sometimes I don't do it. So it's like that's the lesson I'm taking from here from 2024 and taking into 2025, that you know I want to make sure like I am achieving what it is that I am doing what it is that I plan to do. you know um and also it's like one of the other thing about setting intentional goals is about understanding your why are you setting those goals? Are you setting your goals to, as I said, change certain habits? Are you setting meaningful or achievable goals, right? It's understanding your why. Why are you setting those goals? And as I said earlier, one the thing I have already done in 2024 that I don't want to carry into 2025 is this little mindset. Always I'll do a later. Oh, I'll go to the gym later. Oh, I'll go to the gym later, and then maybe like right is like by the time I look is 11 p.m. or almost 12 a.m. and I don't get to it. So I want to change that little mindset, right? To go into, what, I gotta do it now. Is my goal is to get back into the gym effective tomorrow. I'm not gonna wait, right? Every day, at least 3 to 4 days a week. I started that in 2024. For some reason, life got so busy that every time I would tell myself, later, later. I don't want to do that later mindset, right? I want to make sure I do what now. If I say I'm going to do it, go to the gym now. So my why is, right, to go to the gym and be healthy because it really, really helps me. Me going to the gym gives me lots of energy. So you got to know your why, right? And I want to make sure not me just going to the gym, but that what it is I'm trying to achieve should be measurable, and I should definitely and meaningful as well, right? It's like, staying healthy, physically, mentally, you know, um, that's what going to the gym does for you. And again, like for inner cycle, there are a lot of things we want to do in 2025, right? It's like one of our intentional goal that we are setting is make sure we do another all black tie event. We want to make sure it's bigger than what we did the first time. So we have already, you know, um, started working in that direction, working behind the scene to make sure it's like, hey man, in 2025, we want to stage another all black tie event that is bigger, and greater and more and more fun, right, than the first one we had. So it's making sure it's like setting those intentional goals, and also, for inner cycle, one of our other intentional goal is we're going to be officially launching our youth program, right? It's like, launching our youth program, making sure we are, like uh doing things for our youth in terms of basketball, right? Mini basketball clinic or a youth league, for our kids, especially those immigrant kids that are, the underprivileged kids, that are struggling, sometimes don't have anyone to, help them in those areas. So we want to launch a youth league, right, to help kids in our community, and also a mini basketball clinic to make sure that we help those kids. So it's like those are the goals at Inner Cycle that we are trying to set. Intentional goals. I want to make sure it is achievable. And then another one is we are going to be launching our official website. It's like that's is something we are always excited about. That is really, really going to rebrand our organization. It's going to be, I mean, one a top notch, nonprofit website that I'm very excited about, and our members are very, very excited about. So I think like those are the goals. We feel like, all of these things that we have put our mind to, that we have set, these intentional goals that we have set, we strongly believe in 2025 that we will be able to achieve them. So looking like where we're coming from in 2024 and where we are going in 2025, we feel like God, like 2025 is going to be a transformational year for us. It's going to be a year like no other in our history, in the history of Inner Cycle. And the podcast, is going to get bigger, bigger and bigger and bigger, because like we got a weekly business and finance segment, right? We have topics, great topics that will be coming, at you here, on this podcast, and we will be having guests, especially for the weekday business and finance fire chat. Are gonna be like starting tomorrow. We're gonna be discussing life insurance with a great guest. So it's like, and then just every Wednesday we're gonna have great guests to discuss different personal finance and business topics. For entrepreneurs, folks that will come here and educate you and share that knowledge with you. So those are the things, those are the intentional goals we have set here in our cycle for 2025. And we feel that we are going to work very, very hard to achieve them. One of the issues about setting goals, right? Not only setting those goals and walking away, it's making sure once you set those intentional goals, as I said, right, you gotta track them. Is that okay? Am I achieving that? Am I on track? Am I doing what am I doing what I say I'm gonna do? Right? It's like it's making sure, tracking them, that you don't lose track of them, that you definitely have to stay on track. So when you are, getting off track, you can easily, okay, what am I doing wrong? What is it that I need to change? So what is it that I need to adjust? And also the thing about goal setting or intentional goal setting, you have to be strategic, right? You got to set goals. You got to have goal setting strategy. What's the difference between setting goals and setting intentional goals, right? Sometimes like setting goals is a, hey, is, it's not measurable, but setting intentional goals, I think it has to be measurable and also achievable. Don't just say, God, I want to be a millionaire next year. What does that mean? you know, what does that mean? You want to be a millionaire next year? Oh God, I want to make, right now you might be making 50,000 dollars. You want to make 100,000 dollars next year. What does that mean? Okay, how are you gonna get there? Right. So you have to set intentional, measurable, and achievable goals. Right. Don't just be overly ambitious. Right. We all as human beings sometimes have the tendency to do that. But even if you set an ambition or overly ambitious goal, you gotta work towards it. Sometimes you never know, man. It's like, one of the things for me personally going into 2025, I want to like develop the inner Musk mindset, right? It's like there's a dude right now, the richest man in the world, but not only about his riches, but he owns like six different companies. Six. How can one human being one guy? How does he sleep? Right? But it's just that mindset. I mean, it's like he's all over the place, right? And then now, right, with the new administrations coming in, he's taking a role of, government efficiency or something, right, to cut waste. So it's like, how does he manage his time? How does he have time to do all of these things? To manage Tesla, to manage the Boeing company, to manage like SpaceX. How is he doing all of these things? You know, but he's all over the place, right? That's just that mindset. Sometimes not so much about the money, but you know, it's just that mindset to say, man, I gotta manage my time effectively and efficiently. And setting goals and that's what it requires, right? In order to achieve goals, intentional goals, you got to time management, because I mean every one of us have 24 hours in a day, right? No one has more than or less than 24 hours in a day. But how do we manage our time? How effectively and efficiently are we managing our time? And then that's the thing, is that it's just like, you know, it's like it amazes me. I'm wondering to myself every day, how does Elon Musk manage his time, right? I mean, this dude is running six companies, and yet he has the time and the energy. The energy. That's the mindset to me I want to enter into with 2025. Just to have that energy, just to have that mindset and to manage my time effectively so that my 2025 intentional goals can be achievable. Because once you manage your time effectively and efficiently, your intentional goals, right, will not only go to waste. You will make sure that you are checking on them. You are making sure you are tracking them, as I said earlier, and you are doing what it is that you need to do to achieve those goals, right? And then, as I said earlier, right, is balancing your ambitious goal versus what realistic expectations. You gotta set realistic goals, right? Ambition is good, but you cannot be overly ambitious. You have to set realistic goals, things you know, because sometimes if you set overly or ambitious goals, when you don't achieve them, there's a tendency to become discouraged, right? You say, gosh, I said this, guys, I said, you said, hey, I want to be a millionaire in 2025, and then 2025, you don't achieve it, right? You become discouraged, you put your head down and you don't do it. So, it's like setting realistic goals that you know that you can achieve, even if it's just smaller goals. Like, gosh, maybe I want to clean my garage in 2025, making sure, but can you achieve that, right? Can you measure that? Can you measure that achievement? Things like that. So just setting, realistic expectations, right? Realistic goals for 2025, I think will help you to really, blow 2025 out of the park, have a very, very successful year in 2025 because, hey, man, you cannot just go throughout the year without the expectations of you trying to achieve things. So setting intentional goals for 2025 would definitely help with you, you know, blowing the year out of the park, right? And so that's the thing. And then the thing about setting goals as well, setting intentional goals is about overcoming challenges. As I said, there will be challenges. We live in a world. It's like the world is very, 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 very fast moving. Very, very, very. Are you going to face challenges? As I said earlier, sometimes you might wake up, one morning and your car might not start. you know okay, so there will be challenges, there will be so many obstacles, there will be so many hurdles, but what can you do, right, to overcome those challenges and to overcome those pitfalls? As I said, to me, once you set intentional goals, you always have to be flexible. How can you adjust them? How can you make sure that you don't lose sight of them? you know you have to be flexible and making sure that you are working through your challenges, because sometimes, it's like when you set these goals, as I said, man, things might come, from the from your left, from your right, and just blow into that. Okay, like when your car breaks down, sometimes that stuff is not in your budget. If you are in a house, maybe your furnace go out. That's not. It might not be in your budget, but you have to fix it because you cannot go without, or your car or heat or whatever. So it's like so. Once those challenges come along, you have to be flexible enough, right, to kind of see how best you can not totally abandon your goals, but how can you be flexible enough to maybe adjust them. And then the other thing about setting intentional goals is just, getting over your self-doubt, or your fear. Sometimes most people do not set goals when they are going when they are going into the new year or whatever it is they are trying to do. Maybe you're trying to buy a car, you're trying to buy a new car, you're trying to buy a new house. What are your goals, to get there, to achieve those things? So you have to first of all overcome your self-doubt. you know don't say I cannot do it. There's nothing, especially we live in America, man. There is a $30 trillion economy. Everything, anything is possible. Never doubt yourself, right? Self doubt is not going to take you anywhere. So do not doubt yourself. Believe that yes, anything and everything is possible. Especially we live in the greatest country in the world. As I said, man, the Elon Musk, they are running like 6 companies, achieving, things people feel or people thought that they could have never achieve, right? It's like you have a lot of smart, great minds in this country that are achieving what no one thought they could have achieved. So never ever doubt yourself, and do not be afraid, right? Fear is going to hold you back from anything you do. You know what I mean? There's only in life, right? There's only success and failure to me. That's how it is, right? You either fail or you succeed. And sometimes, it's not about how many times you fail, and sometimes there's what lesson in failures. There are lessons in failure. So do not be afraid to fail. In our community, especially in our immigrant community, we are sometimes so much afraid, We have this fear of taking risk because we do not want to fail. But man, I mean, so many successful entrepreneurs will tell you, so many successful business people will tell you that failure is part of the game, man. Failure is part of the game. Some very successful entrepreneurs were one homeless, they could not even afford a place to live. Today, they are multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires. If they were afraid of failure, they will not be where they are. So, do not doubt yourself as you go into 2025. Do not be afraid as you go into 2025. Will there be down moments? Will there be tough moments? Yes, there will be tough moments. Has your 2024 or was your 2024 all gravy, all success? No, it did face challenging moments, but did you overcome them? Yes, it's like so. Do not doubt yourself, right? As you go into 2025 with your intentional goals for this, I mean for 2025, don't doubt yourself. Believe that you can achieve them. Believe that anything you put your mind to, right, and you work hard, that they are possible. The possibilities in this country or wherever you are in the world, no matter your situation, don't give up. Every day you wake up, if you have good health in 2025, do not give up. Do not be afraid. Attack your challenges, whatever you face, head on, right? And do not backtrack on your goals. Do not get away from your goals, your intentional goals that you have set for 2025. Don't lose sight of them. Don't backtrack. Stay with it no matter how. And the other thing about, as you go into 2025 with your intentional goals, right? For 2025, how are you going to hold yourself accountable? Accountability is going to be your key. Sometimes it could be, it's like maybe if you have friends and families, if you have maybe friends, someone you trust, you can let them, maybe like have hold you accountable, right? Is that we all like, some of us are in corporate America, like every quarter, we have a review, performance review. So it's like it could be the same way. You could use that same mindset, right? It's like okay, to after maybe January, you look back on your goals, say, okay, how are you doing? Can someone maybe like hold you accountable to those? Hey man, maybe you say you're gonna go to the gym 3 days a week or 4 days a week, but the entire January you had it even when they're 2 days a week. So okay, how can you get back on track? Or maybe, find a workout partner, someone that you can, go to the gym every day. Maybe that person could probably motivate you to hold you accountable, that making sure, hey man, can we maybe call you up or you call them up? Can we go to the gym? Right? Is that just that accountability piece? Or maybe if you are setting financial goals, which is critical, man. As a finance person, I advise that don't just go into 2024 without a budget, right? Set a budget. You got to be flexible. Obviously, I'm not saying you should just 100% stick to it. If things happens, obviously be flexible. That you can adjust, but set some realistic financial goals. Get a budget that you can work through that budget. Don't just go into 2025 just spending left and right, right? Make sure you set a realistic goal that you can also have someone hold you accountable to it. If you say, hey man, I'm only going to spend maybe like 200 on Uber a month, make sure like you are holding yourself accountable or you have someone that is helping you to hold you accountable, right? Is that because if you don't do that, you might get discouraged. And when you are blowing through that budget every year, you might say, man, it's not worth it. I'm not a I'm not the kind that can achieve this. So you might lose focus, you might be discouraged, but don't do that. Is in order to achieve your intentional goals in 2025, there has to be some level of accountability. Without accountability, you might just go through there. Is if as I said, along the way, you might get discouraged. So your 2025 intentional goals, hold yourself accountable, or find a partner, or find someone to hold you accountable. There has to be some measure of accountability in order for you to achieve your 2025 goals. So and then the other thing too, right? Setting goals, you got to have tools and techniques. One, the thing I want to make sure that I do this year, that I do in 2025, I want to take a whiteboard and put it in my house, right? And just write every day what I want to achieve, things I want to work on, and put my goals there, right? My goals, my daily goals, monthly. and things like that, right? To work on them. You see, so you have to have tools, techniques, and methods. As it says that they call those the whiteboards I'm talking about, right? It's something I'm looking at every day, right? It's like it will probably help me to say, oh God, what did I do today? If I say again, right, come back to that whole gym, example. If I say I'm gonna go to the gym 3 or 4 days a week, making sure, okay, did I go today, right? It's like week, 7 days in a week. This week one, did I meet my goal of 3 to 4 days? If I didn't, why? Right? It's like just making sure it's like having that tools, or if you have a notebook that you can write, you can write in, you have a journal, or you have an app. There's so many digital apps out there, great apps out there that can, help you stay organized, help make sure you track down your goals, you track it. Technology have made things so much easier, right? So you don't have to, you know, some folks are still old school. They prefer a notebook, and I'm still one of the old school type. Obviously, I'm not going to use a notebook, but I'm going to do a whiteboard. So every day when I wake up, I look at my whiteboard. Okay, what have I achieved? Or before I go to bed at night, I look at, okay, what did I achieve today? End of the month, what did I achieve, right? And making sure it's like that I'm tracking my goals, I'm staying on top of it, that I don't lose focus, because that's the thing. There's 12 months in a year, and sometimes, man, the year can look so long, but it also go by very, 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 very fast. Before you look, it's already December. So yeah, January is tomorrow, or it's already January in most parts of the world. Before you go look, it's going to be December, right? And we're right back at it, trying to set these goals and things like that. So um that's the important thing. And the thing about goals too, right? Setting intentional goals, you have to have, as I mentioned earlier, it has to be visible. It has to be some visualization. Your goals have to be visualized. You cannot just say, you know visualization, you got to write them down, or you got to put them somewhere that you can look at it every day. Every day, you got to look at your goals, right? They have to be visible. If you don't have visualization while you are setting these goals, how are you going to know what are you working towards? How are you going to know if you are on track? How are you going to know if you're off track, right? So intentional goals are good, right? Setting your goals for 2025, right? They are good. But, you know, it's like you got to, number one, again, right? Holding yourself accountable, making sure your goals are visible, that you are looking at it daily, weekly, monthly, and making sure that you just don't get off track, right? It's like looking at it every day. Okay, what am I doing wrong? How can I make sure that if you are getting off track, how can you make sure that you get on track? If it's a financial goal, God, maybe like at the end of January, February, look at where did you spend the most money? How can you cut back? And things like that. What it is that you need to cut back on? Maybe you need to cut back on like eating out, right? Or buying like lunch every day, or buying, maybe like fast food for your kids, right? Maybe you need to cut down on those things. It's like, so setting your goals that are visible to you every day is like you will see, okay, if you set a budget, for January, and February comes that you went over that budget, you can look back and say, okay, maybe that where do I need to cut down, things like that. So making sure having your goals that are visible, visualization is very, very important in goal setting. So as you go into 2025, don't just set those goals, write them down somewhere that you can look at them, that you can track them every day, that you look at them. If your goal is X, Y, and Z, write them down somewhere that you can look at them, that you can track them, and things like that. So that's one is then, and then also the most important thing, as I mentioned earlier, right? It's about, when it comes to goal setting, it's about time management. One of my greatest pitfall this year in 2024 was I didn't manage my time effectively. It's like, effectively and efficiently, right? And so, as I said, like when I want to do something, I will always tell myself later, later. I develop a later mindset in 2024, and I want to get away from that. I want to get away from that later mindset and get into a mindset of, why not now, right? Why do I have to wait later, to do this, right? Or to why do I have to wait later to go to the store? Why do I have to wait later to go to the gym? Why can't I do it right now? It's like, So I want to get away from that little mindset, you know, a whole little mindset. And it all has to do with time management. How am I effectively managing my time, efficiently managing my time? Because as I said, right, there's so much going on in this life. I got so much going on that you have to find a way, right? We all have so much going on. We all have to find a way to effectively and efficiently manage our time. Sometime, man, with the advent of social media, some of us spend so much time on social media. Just like if we if you're a lover of Facebook, just going through that blue app. If you love Instagram, you might take hours on there just going through stuff, right? If you love Snapchat, if you're a lover of Snapchat, you might just be on there watching, funny videos, or TikTok. If you're a lover of TikTok, you might be on there watching funny videos. It might take you hours. It's like before you look, man, it's 24 hours in a day, right? Maybe you have spent 2, 3, 4 hours, just scrolling through those various social media platforms and things like that. But that's the thing. As you set your goals for 2025 to go into 2025, you have to look at a way. You have to look at ways how effective and efficient you can manage your time. Time management and goal setting is very, very important. We all like there's only 24 hours, and we all have equal 24 hours. Elon Musk has 24 hours. Tim Cook has 24 hours. Warren Buffett has 24 hours. Every one of us have 24 hours. How are we managing our 24 hours? How are we managing our time? And time is money as well. You have to effectively and efficiently manage your time in order to achieve your goals, right? Your realistic, intentional goals that you are setting for 2025. You have to effectively and efficiently manage your time. So tonight, folks, what we are discussing here is setting intentional goals for 2025. To say, what are the merits and demerits? I think it is very, very important, to set goals. But your goals have to be realistic. Don't just set goals; it have to be very, very realistic. And as I was just saying, right, time management, very, very important. It helps you, when you're managing your time effectively and efficiently, it will help you, track your progress, track, how things are going, and things like that. So we all have 24 hours in a day. How effectively and efficiently are we managing our time? And then goal setting has to always do with what? Mindset and motivation. you know my as I stated earlier, right, I want to develop the inner Mox mindset. Not so much, it's not that I want to become the richest person, not by any chance, right? Not it's like the rich, not that I want to become the richest person in the world, but just his mindset of, man, that dude is so busy. As I said, he's managing 6 different companies plus so many other stuff that he got going on. How does he manage his time? How does he stay motivated? What is his why? Why is he doing all of these things? And stuff like that. So that's just that mindset. To me, it's like it's not so much about the money, but just that mindset. How can I just develop such a mindset, right? To manage my time efficiently, to achieve things. Because sometimes, right, it's about I like his work ethic. Man, how how does he do it? It's that mindset I want to develop, that work ethic that I should be able to do more, right? I should be able to do more. Once I, go to work, achieve more, make sure like I'm doing more at work, right? It's like, managing my time effectively and efficiently. And then also with my side hustles, right? It's like how am I effectively and efficiently managing my time? We're in a cycle. How am I effectively and efficiently managing my time to make sure we as an organization achieve things that we said we are going to achieve this year, right? It's just a mindset. And we all have to stay motivated, right? It's just that mindset and that motivation. You can set goals, but what's your mindset of setting those goals? What is your motivation? And you have to stay motivated throughout in order to achieve your goals. You cannot say if you're not motivated, that's one thing, right? You will realize very, very soon and very, very quick that things might not go the way you expect, right? It's like you might either get discouraged, right? Or you might say, man, that is not worth it. It is a waste of my time. So, hey, let me move on to the next thing. So, it is developing that mindset and also just having those motivations, right? You gotta stay motivated. You got to, it's like, it said like practice makes perfect. You gotta just, you know, um, practice, right? It's like to say, okay, if I say you want to achieve this, you can't give up. As I said, you might meet challenges along the way. It's up to you to see how you're going to attack those challenges, how you're going to overcome them. Always be flexible. Always be willing to adjust. Do not just develop one set of habits. You say, hey man, I'm going to stick to it when things are not working out. Do not say, hey, it's like this is what I plan to do when things are not going the right way, and then you still want to what? Stick to it no matter what. Be flexible. You can adjust. Not saying that you should give up. How can you maybe find ways, that you should make sure it's like instead of you just giving up outright, right? How can you maybe be flexible and adjust, to find a better way, right? There might be a better way to do it, right? But don't, lose hope, right? It's like you have to stay motivated and just have to develop our mindset, man. That mindset. They said for me in 2025, I want to develop the Elon Musk mindset, right? His work ethic, how he manage his time effectively and efficiently and things like that. So that's the kind of mindset I want to go into 2025 with because I feel when I develop, right, that mindset and stay with it, sky's the limit, man. That's all we all need. The sky's the limit, in 2025. I hope whatever mindset, you develop, your sky is the limit in 2025. At Inner Cycle, our mindset, right, the mindset we are developing, as an organization, is what going to what transform us. Is big, as I said earlier, 2025 is going to be a transformational year for us. Because even the project that we launched, right, the $8 million project that we launched to build a community and cultural center in Minnesota here, right, it won't be possible without the right mindset, without the motivation, right? It's like our first year, we want to raise like $1 million towards this project. How are we going to do it if we don't stay motivated? If we don't develop the right mindset that, look, man, we think that is very achievable, but we have to set realistic goals around it. How can we go about working towards, raising the $1 million that we said we are going to raise towards this $8 million project? How can we go about doing that? What strategies can we develop? What tools can we use? And things like that. How can we get to our donors, to fund us, to help us in this initiative because we believe it's a good initiative, right? But we have to work hard towards it. We have to be motivated. We have to have the right mindset. There will be bumps in the road, but we cannot give up. We have to definitely make sure that, hey man, that this is it, this is our goal. And we have to look at it every day, right? It's as I said, you have to we have set this goal of raising $8 million, right? Say, okay, in year one, we want to raise $1 million. How do we get there? And it's like developing those strategies, developing those tools to help us in that regard. And so those are the things that we are Inner Cycle are working on, that we don't get discouraged, stay motivated, tracking our progress in everything that we say we are going to do. Like for this podcast, our goal is to increase our audience, our subscribers, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, We also want to like in 2025, we want to get on every platform, Apple Podcasts, wherever you can screen, wherever you get your podcast from, right? Cycle Podcast want to be there. That's our goal for 2025. But how can we get there? Okay. How? Okay. We have set this goal, this intentional goal for 2025. We got to stay motivated. We got to track that progress. What are we doing? How can we maybe like, okay, right now we are on YouTube and Facebook, but how can we get Instagram going, right? How can we get on Apple Podcasts? What are the things that we need to do? Um, how can we increase our subscriber base, right? Do we need to advertise? How can we monetize, this platform, right? To make sure it's like, we are bringing in business partnership, we are bringing in sponsors. These are the things we have to stay motivated to make sure that we grow this medium, we grow this platform because it is a platform that's going to help our community. We strongly believe that, it's really, really going to help our community. So going into 2025, we have set intentional goals that we want to achieve and things like that. And those are the things, but we have to stay motivated. If you set intentional goals, you cannot get discouraged, you cannot lose hope, you cannot get sidetracked. You got to make sure that you write them down, that you are tracking them and making sure that you are motivated, that it's like there will be challenges, but you got to stay within it. You got to stay with the program, man. You got to stay with the game. You gotta stay with the hustle. Whatever it is that you plan on grinding on in 2025, you cannot lose track. You just have to make sure that you stay with it. You are motivated, and things like that. And then the other thing about setting, goals, right? Is like the beauty of setting those goals and tracking them, is about it's the ability for you to celebrate those small wins, right? It's like, as I said, if my goal, again, to the gym example, if my goal is to go 3 to 4 days a week, and I'm only maybe going 2 days a week, barely 3 days a week, I should still be like, we're celebrating. Okay, you know what? At least I'm consistent. I say, okay, you know what? I am developing a habit. Consistency is key, right? Anything you try to do like this, like our podcast, we plan here to come at you 3 days a week. Guess what? We have kept consistency. Sometimes if it's only one person, we have kept that consistency, right? We are here at you 3 days a week, providing you vital, important information that we can all learn from you, right? It's like we are providing great information here, social issues, business. We are bringing on entrepreneurs. We have kept that consistency, so that's a win, right? Like in 2024, that as an institution, as an organization, as a media platform, that we should be celebrating things like that. So it's about, when you set goals, you know don't just say, oh God, maybe I didn't achieve the entire thing, so I'm gonna get discouraged, right? If you set like 10 realistic goals, right? If we only achieve five, man, celebrate those wins, and say, okay, why didn't I achieve the other five? Why? What happened? Where did things go wrong? So always make sure that you are celebrating smaller wins or small wins and things like that. Do not do not uh do not get discouraged, if you don't achieve all of your goals, right? Hey, our goal is to raise $1 million, in 2025 towards our project. We set an $8 million goal. Our first year goal is $1 million. If for any reason we fall short and maybe we only raise 500 or 700 or 800, we should be, we should celebrate, right? We should definitely celebrate those wins, right? And then maybe like and look back, okay, why didn't we get to the 1 million that we targeted? What went wrong? How can we make sure that that we double our effort, that we stay motivated, that we don't get discouraged, and things like that. So as you go into 2025, man, you got to be intentional about your goals and not get sidetracked. Do not get discouraged. I think 2025 is going to be a good year. It's going to be, I mean, another fun year, but whatever it is that you set your mind on, that you set your mind to, go into it with, with optimism. I'm always the optimist. You got to be optimistic about things, about life, no matter what life throws at you. Always make sure you're optimistic, stay focused, that you're not losing track. Man, life will knock you down. That's what life is, right? You have curveballs, right? That's all life is. But don't get discouraged, right? I'm always the optimist, and things like that. So that's the thing about setting goals to, where you always have to be optimistic about things, right? It's like, okay, like I look back at 2025, 2024, there's a lot of things I wanted to do. I didn't do it, right? As I said, one of the thing, and one of the reason why I know is like I procrastinated a lot. I had this little mindset, and so even though I'm an optimist, but I always is like for some reason this little mindset came from nowhere. It affected my progress. It affected some of the things I wanted to achieve. It has affected things that I wanted to do. So going into 2025, I'm the everyday optimist, but I also want to make sure that, hey, man, that I become very forceful of things that I want to achieve, right? Things like that. So as you go into 2025, man, be optimistic, stay hopeful, don't give up, no matter what life throws at you. I wish your 2025 is far great, far greater than your 2024. And again, the one thing about, setting intentional goals is about, you got to ensure that it kind of align with your values, your personal values and your long term aspirations. And as you know, sometimes we set goals that don't align with who we are as a person. You know, what are the values that I have that, in terms of, so now your goals have to align with those. If not, you might easily get off track. You know, easily get off track. So as you set those goals, make sure they align with your values. You know, don't just set them because you see them on social media. Oh, everyone is, everyone is, is traveling, so I want to travel too. Nah, just align with what it is that you want, with your long-term aspirations, with things that you want to achieve. Hey, you see everyone buying those new TVs. Is that what you want to do in 2025? Or everyone buying those shiny cars or those shiny shoes, right? Those is that really what you want to do? Does it align with your values, right? So setting your goals, right? Setting those realistic, intentional goals for 2025. Make sure they align with your values. Make sure those are things that, God, this is what I really want to do, right? Don't just follow the crowd. Don't just follow the social media crowd. We live, in a day and age, that they have influencers that influence how to do things. Make sure that whatever goal you are setting is not based on one influencer that is telling you, oh, buy this, buy that, or do this or do that. Make sure it is based on your values. It is based on things that you want to do, right? So your 2025 goals, make sure they align with your values. They align with your personal value and your long-term aspirations. Our inner circle, our goal, the goals that we have set, something that aligns with our organization mission and vision, and things in long term that we want to achieve as the organization, and the impact we want to make in this community. All of our members are all immigrants, and so, God bless us. We came into this country. We want to leave an impact, for the next generation, for folks that are going to come after us. So those are things we are intentional about. Those are things that kind of aligns our values and our long-term aspirations, things like that. So, um, with the next 9 minutes left, right, is I just want to leave you with a few things, right, as you set your, goals, your 2025 goals, have strategies, to help you evaluate and adjust those goals, right, even mid-year, you know. So, right now, when January begins tomorrow here in the United States. In other places have always begun, but as the clock, turns to 2025, when June comes, right? Look at all the goals you have set for 2025 and say, God, did I achieve them? Where am I? You know, where am I in the goals that I set? If you listed 10 goals, 10 things that you want to achieve in 2025, I think you should say, you know what, in June I'm going to have a self-evaluation. you know, did I achieve the 10 things that I listed as I was going to achieve? Did I achieve them? And if you're not on track, how can you adjust or how can you reevaluate? As I said, sometimes in life, you know, as I said, we live in a world where in like life is so life is so unpredictable. Tomorrow is not promised. It's not promised to no one. As some folks celebrate tonight, there are other folks in the hospital. There are folks who have gone to the great beyond. Things like that. So tomorrow is not promised to everyone, to anyone. So it's like you have to be flexible. You have to make sure that you adjust mid-year. Those goals that you have set. Come June, evaluate them. Where are you? Have you the 10 things that you listed that are your goals? It's like if you're not on track, you know evaluate it and say, okay, how can I adjust them? How can I make sure that I get back on track? Things like that. So making sure, tracking your progress. You can do it monthly, but then at the mid-year point 2025, which is June, right? Look at your overall goal, right? And see, okay, what it is that I need. So maybe, do I need to redouble my effort? Do I need to double my effort? Do I need to do something different, right? And it's like, or what it is, what strategies can I develop? What new tools, can I bring into my wheelhouse to make sure that I'm achieving my goals, and stuff like that. So as you go into 2025, I hope your year become your best year yet. I hope 2025 is the year that, you're going to really, really shine. You're going to, blow things out of the park. It's going to be the year where like the best things are going to happen to you, where you're going to be so so blessed. It's going to be multiple multiplications in your life. It's going to be double double. So it's like, as you go, to go into this year, we are all blessed, to be crossing over into 2025, to all my Liberian folks, to all my African immigrant folks out there, you know, we are in this country. America is not an easy place, but don't get discouraged, if your 2024 wasn't great, be hopeful that 2025 will be better. Be hopeful that 2025 will be a great year for you, that the best is yet to come, you know. And if things don't turn out the way you expect them to turn out, man, do not give up. Keep pushing, keep grinding, you know, keep grinding, you know, don't give up, and things like that. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. So just keep grinding, just keep moving along, just keep working hard. And man, make sure you manage your time effectively and efficiently because, we all allotted or given 24 hours. 24 hours. God never cheated any of us, right? Give us 24 hours in a day. How effective and efficient we manage those times is what is sometimes determines success or failure. And for any reason, you fail, failure should be a lesson, right? It should not be something that should discourage you for, doing the great things that you want to do in 2025, from achieving your goals. It shouldn't stop you from doing that. Whatever it is, use it as a motivation. Always stay motivated. Always stay motivated to make sure that, man, you know, I am going to do the things that I said I was going to do. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to develop the right mindset, For me, I'm going to develop the right mindset. So make sure as you go into 2025, stay motivated, develop the right mindset, don't give up, keep pushing. If 2024 was a challenging year, go into 2025, hopeful that things will be better, hopeful that it is your best year yet to come, Do not, whatever you do, don't give up. You might, experience bumps in the road, but those bumps should be used as a motivation. Those bumps, should be used as things that's going to push you forward. Sometimes life challenges, teach us lessons that help us to all move forward. So whatever it is, whatever plans, whatever goals, that you have set for 2025, make sure, man, that you achieve them. Make sure that you work hard towards them, and things like that. So don't give up. Keep pushing, keep it moving, keep it going, keep that hustle going, keep that grind going. And hey, man, wish you a happy, happy, happy 2025. Wish you and your family 2025. Hope, for us here waiting to celebrate. It's 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 8 p.m. Central Time here in the next 3 hours. It's gonna be New Year, it's gonna be 2025. So hope you celebrate wisely tonight. Do not drink and drive, stay safe. If you're out there, there's Uber, there's Lyft, don't do anything that is good, that's going to make you to start the year, in a bad way. Wish you a happy, prosperous 2025. That the best for you is yet to come, that the sky is going to be the limit for you. We here at Inner Cycle want to make sure, praying for you. Our platform, our podcast, I think for us, right, we are looking forward to a great, 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 great 2025. This platform is gonna bring you great, great entertainment, great, great content, in 2025. We are very excited. We hope you can join us continuously. We hope you can subscribe to our various channels and things like that. We hope you can support us because, as I said, we have great, great guests coming for our weekday business and finance fire chat. 2025 is going to be our transformational year. Inner Cycle, we are very, very excited. 2025 is definitely going to be our year of progress, our year of transformation. We're going to do great things in this community. We're going to, man, just blow things out of the park. So we are excited. We hope you are excited as well. We hope you celebrate in grand style. To the Liberian folks out there going to watch night, be safe out there. Pray for us. For those of us that are not going to watch night, for me, I'm a Catholic. I don't do watch night, but tomorrow, obviously, I will be going to church, to thank God for, for a new year and things like that. So, but as you go to watch night, pray for your fellow citizens, for your fellows, pray for everyone, and things like that. And we wish you and your family a happy, happy new year. a prosperous new year, a blessed new year. Stay safe, keep it moving in 2025. Keep grinding, keep hustling, no matter what. Don't give up. And good night, folks. Thank you.
In a Circle podcast where hearts unite, sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home. So join the conversation, let's set the tone. In a Circle podcast where love is well known.